Maybe that's a bit big. Maybe that's better. Writing that this big. Okay, let's just wait a minute. Hi, Cameron. Hey, Paul. Hey, Paul, I love leftovers. Oh my God. How did I bypass that? How did that slip under my radar? Hmm. Okay, looks like it's going to be just a few of us tonight. It's all right. Yeah. Hi, Wayne. Hi, John. I need to put out more videos on YouTube because, people come with people and being patron for a while, and then it's like it's been a while and they leave, and I don't refresh it because I don't know why. Just like hopeless. I'm not really a promoter, like I don't really like to. I don't feel like I don't know. It's a difficult thing because I just like to talk like this. I don't like to promote and market and all that stuff. I actually prefer it if just a few of us came around my house. That'd be so much better. So it's like 6 or 7 of us just spending the evening once a week talking about, freedom. Freedom. You need an agent. Oh my God. Yeah. I could give them, I don't know, maybe some soup as reward. It is what it is, It's okay. It's up to me really. If I just put more videos on YouTube, it'd probably be a bit better. But the weeks go by and I'm like, oh wow, it's like June this week. Anyway, let's get down to more important things like freedom, enjoyment of life, freedom from petty concerns, freedom from trying to get rid of petty concerns, seeing the petty concerns for what they are, completely petty, worrying about what I think of myself, what other people think of me, what I should do, what I shouldn't do, and just living life. Just living life. Doesn't mean not making plans, make plans, and just do whatever, but just free of the turgid, muddy, slow walking feeling that I'm not getting anywhere, because no, we're not going to get anywhere. Not going to get anywhere at all. It's always just now, it's just always here. But also at the same time, I'm intelligent. You're intelligent. You can see what is going on. It's just the mind gets swamped with pettiness, like it's important. It's not important. Living life is important. Being life is important. It's the only thing that really is. It's the only thing where there is freedom, where there is peace, where there is just peace. Really doesn't mean that shit doesn't hit the fan sometimes, but it hits and it goes and hits and it goes. It doesn't stick around like some ghoul tormenting you. So I'm reading this great book. It's called Stalking the Wild Pendulum. It's quite an old book. It's like from the 70s. It's not that old, but it's fairly old. By a guy called Iztak Bentov, I think his name is. And I'm only not even halfway through it yet. But he goes into many things, but one of the things that stuck out for me, two things actually. One is to do with microscopic, the microscope, and how it goes in to, like, say you've got muscle, right? You've got muscle. So the microscope goes into the muscle and you've got all these strands of muscle. And then it goes further in and further in, and you've got these spirals of molecules. So there isn't really strands there at all. It's just all these spirals of molecules. And each molecule is vibrating millions of times a second. I mean, amazing. You go into the molecules and there's an atom. I might get this wrong, but just, go with it. So you go into the atom and then you go in and in and in and in for miles and miles and miles and miles, say, relatively. So you get to some kind of nucleus. And then inside the nucleus is just electricity. And the whole thing, all the molecules and all the electricity is bound together by an electrical, what did they call it? Like an electrical field that holds all these molecules together, making it appear as solid matter, when it's not at all. It's literally just electricity. Just certain amounts of electricity and magnetism appearing as physical objects. So when we're petty and we're like going over and over and over in our mind about the price of cat food, say, I know someone who does that, and it's just the most important thing, so important that they'll get angry with you because you don't care about the price of cat food. And this is an actual example in my experience. So someone gets angry with you because you don't care about the price of cat food, like I don't. If it goes up, then, well, I'll just pay it. There we go. So basically, it's a bunch of electrical impulses arguing with another group of electrical impulses, which are actually in the same field, about the price of cat food. So when we get down to it, literally a walking electrical field. That's all this body is. It seems like it's real and solid. It's just held together with electric magnetism. Everything's held together in that way. And yet we think that the price of cat food is more important than just the wonder of this appearance, which isn't even permanent. It's not even permanent. I mean, we're nearly in June. Is anyone else? Is the time speeding up for anyone else? And that's not, they say it speeds up with age, but my daughter is also experiencing that. I'm just interested to see if anyone else is experiencing this rapid acceleration in the perception of time. So what have we got to lose? What is this group? Definitely seems fast. It really does, doesn't it? And everybody I speak to says the same thing. Like, it's out, mind blowing. So this bunch of electrical impulses that has a tendency to take everything really personally and feel attacked. I want to attack. Yes, time seems to get faster as you get older. I think it's just getting faster because the young people are noticing it too. Even my nephew, who's 18, is noticing it. So, Ooh, Twilight Zone. Because this place is not, it's not science like says everything fixed. Yes, you are a body and you're just flesh and bone and blah, blah, blah. Like, actually, no, flesh and bone is made from frequency. And it feels like that, doesn't it? It's frequency. And it's connected to every other frequency. Every little waggle of my finger is connected to everything, which is amazing. And yet, We occupy our time, everyone, just an example of many humans, occupy ourselves with proving that the price of cat food is more important than just sitting in peace together. Ah, yeah. When this group of vibrating molecules only has a certain amount of time. So, what's more important? What's more important? You know, as we tend to say in this collection of people, there's nothing, what is it Cameron says? Nothing works. No, nothing works because you can't get to it through like some kind of, like most people talk about, like practice or I don't know, like non-duality, some sort of miraculous happening. You either see it or you don't. You either see that you're wasting your precious life thinking about the price of cat food, or you just see that life is more important than those petty things. Because freedom comes before peace and enjoyment of life. It comes before it. We try to enjoy life. But if we're not free of this incessant thing that we think is real and important, all these little petty concerns and gripes that we think are so important, we'll never be free. We'll never enjoy life. Chased me out. I could feel the vibration of my body when I got in the car. Or something chased you out. I think there was a, oh, hang on, let me get to live chat. I'm on top chat. Don't want that. Ah, here we go. Sorry, I might have missed a few things. No. Shit hit the fan this morning. They told me I had to comply with mask wearing in order to get my MRI. I have pain in my hip. Long story short, I left there screaming the F-bomb at the woman who chased me out. I could feel the vibration of my body when I got in the car. I could see the blah, blah, blah story in my head. I just ignored the blah, blah and felt the feeling, let it go. Yeah, because the feeling is pure. The feeling is pure. You know, the absolute gall of telling you have to cover your face up. Yeah, the blood's going to pump, isn't it? The blood's going to pump. You're going to use the F-bomb and maybe some middle fingers. And the blood will be racing around the body. And it's just a feeling. But it's the blah, 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 isn't it? You know, I can't seem to get Greta Thunberg out of my head every time I say that. But the incessant storytelling, and I should have done this, and maybe they think that about me, and I blah, 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 blah. That is just a feeling in the end. The blood pumping, the absolute injustice of it. Yeah. Felt the feeling and let it go, sure. Our feelings do come and go, but incessant stories about feelings seem to want to hang around. So the other example I wanted to make from this absolutely brilliant book, and this guy's not a scientist, he said that he's actually unsullied by conventional learning, which I quite liked. So you put 10 grandfather clocks in a row with the pendulums going, and they've all set to exactly the same time. But you start the pendulums off at different times. This is not what he's getting at a different thing, but I'm going to use that as an analogy for something else. So eventually, after some time, all the pendulums swing together, even though nothing has been done. It's called entrainment. Pendulums become entrained with each other, and all 10 pendulums swing together. So if you grab one pendulum and you put it out of time with the rest, because all the rest are entrained, the one on its own will fall into line really quickly. And I think that's very true of groups, clubs, certain spiritual teachings. I don't see myself as I don't see this as really a club or a group or a, you know, I wouldn't want anyone to feel entrained into the into anything. I like to talk about getting out of that, getting out of this incessant need to swing in time with everybody else. Because if everyone's swinging in time, it's not a good sign, is it? It's not a good sign when everybody's all swinging together. It's something that Steve's interested in. He calls it it's called mass formation. I saw a video about it once, but it's more his thing. Mass formation. So everybody's worrying about the price of cat food and face masks. And it pulls, because of the power of it, it can pull you into it. That's how bridges fall. What do you mean? That's interesting. So you go into a room and everyone's thinking the same thing. Everyone isn't trained into thinking the same thing. Everyone's watched the same news station. Everyone's watched the same TV adverts. Everyone wears the same fashion. Everybody in sync. Oh, really? Oh, wow. Well, I think that the entrainment of everybody in sync psychologically is the end of freedom, is the end of enjoyment in life. If there's a strong teaching that wants everybody in sync, it's a recipe for frustration, dissembling, entrainment, not being free, competition. Competition's a devil in spiritual circles, isn't it? They make soldiers break cadence by going across the bridge. Oh, wow, that's so interesting. That's so interesting. And I think that, yeah, it's like we're so programmed that we have to break our own cadence because it's so easy. It's so easy to fall into line with all the emotions of everybody else. Like I feel it when someone's having a go at me for not caring about spending 10 cents more on some cat food. And I feel the pull to kind of enter into that sort of, I don't know, I just want to just leave me alone, you know. I just feel the of it. But maybe the feeling, the vibration is the resistance of being pulled into her, what has been termed reality tunnel. I like that. It's from Jason Brashear's reality tunnel. So there's these reality tunnels and these big reality tunnels. I think I've talked about it before with pendulums, haven't I? The big whooshing pendulum that swoops everybody up. And it's the same with reality tunnels. And some of them are so strong, they just suck everybody into them. And that's why it's so easy to get, you know, as Jara said, the blah, 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 because the whole world is doing, everybody we know is doing that. Not everybody, but most people. So it's that extra pull to fall into line, to just become dull, Darwinian, a dull Darwinian, who just thinks all day about, you know, what was said on the news, or if someone likes their new car, or you know, the usual stuff. Am I getting it right? Am I getting it right in line with these people or this teaching? When in actuality, the only experiential existence is here. It's only here. Doesn't mean that no one else exists. Of course, others exist, but the only experiential, the only empirical happening is here. And for some reason, the whole world wants that to fall into line with it. It's very hard to break pattern with it. Very hard. But it's just a pattern. The same as the pattern of all the blah blah. It's a pattern. It's like ingrained into the brain, like a groove, like a deep groove in a record. It just gets deeper and deeper until the needle doesn't know how to get out. And really, it's just a pattern. It's just falling into line with the norm. Well, the norm is not great. It's not inspiring. There are inspirations in the world, in people, of course. They pop up here and there. You know, I see many inspiring things, but the norm, the shell is very, very like a kind of prison to keep you locked in this belief of this is what I am, and that's it. That's it. When we have no idea, what this is or what this experience is. I mean, just the idea that it's all just made of vibrating electric is just mind-blowing. That there's stars and there's a sun and there's green plants and cats and tables and tea, and just the very existence of it, the very thing that is here at all is quite sublime and that's the word I'm looking for. Elegant. It's so elegant. The idea that I wish I knew the name for it. The field that holds the molecules of the body together, the whole shell. It's like a field. So apparently when the body dies, the field breaks and then everything just breaks down. Interesting, right? It's just the breaking of that field. Amazing. The field is gone. That measurable field goes as soon as somebody dies. That's why it starts breaking down. So when the mind breaks cadence, like a soldier on a bridge, breaks cadence, it's then free. And it's just free. It's free. Because the idea of free in teachings is like, oh, it's a quiet mind. Oh, it's a mind that doesn't give a shit. There's always a set idea of what the mind will be, or what the heart will be, or what anything will be. When there's no, once the break is made from stepping in line with our own conditioning, the conditioning of the environment, the people, then there's no rules for that. Sorry. Another man in the waiting room tried to convince me, oh, come on, just go along and put it on. These women are here working on the holiday weekend. Okay, I'm done, sorry. No, it's like that. So it's really good. Oh, come on. Just, just go along with it. Just go along with it, Said every Nazi soldier ever. Not saying that they're Nazis, but come on, just go along with it. Just go along with it. Just do as you're told. Just do as you're told. Just be one of us. Be one of us. See, this is why I don't get invited to parties. Oh dear. Oh dear. I'm hopeless in parties. Hopeless. It's just the worst possible environment for me because I can feel the collective. I might meet some nice individuals, but the collective is just absolute worst thing for me at all. I've never survived any kind of group environment. I just can't stay, because I just can't step in time with everybody else. I just can't do it. Because freedom is more important to me than just doing as I'm told. It's not that I'm an unkind or rude person. It's just that I just can't dissemble. That's the word. Dissemble. In my youth, I used to try and dissemble, but it's not healthy. Literally, the holiday is Memorial Day here in the US, honoring those who fought for our freedom. Oh, the irony. Oh, the irony. Yeah. Well, I think that people who did fight in wars fought in orchestrated wars. That they were told was fighting for their freedom, but I think they were just fighting for the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers, actually. But didn't know it. These young men didn't know what the hell they were fighting for. It's like they go off to Afghanistan, and they come back and they start reporting that the only thing they've done is guard the poppy fields. And come back and, we're not fighting for freedom, we're fighting for opium fields. Drug cartels. Anyway, I have really rambled on for nearly half an hour. I don't know why the world is built in such a way to try and drag everybody down to its level. It's really interesting, isn't it? What a strange set of appearances we find ourselves in, where everything is, not everything, but a lot is pretty negative and scare-based. Tell you how I see it with this world we find ourselves in. I have said to myself in the past, I'm like, okay, game on. I'll play the game of not falling for it. I don't fall for it. I don't fall for either side, because there's, in the situation at the moment, there's two sides, aren't there? There's some of the truthers and some of the news, and you know what? I don't know. I'm not really going for either of them at the moment. Just freedom. It's the only thing. Not in political freedom, all that stuff. Where life becomes magical again. Where life is an adventure again. Where life is fresh and new. Where all the old shackles have come off of what this life is. Then it's fresh and new. And there's no end to it. There's no end to it. All these teachings proclamate that there's an end to it all. Well, the end to it all is physical death. Maybe, maybe not. To this appearance, anyway. There's the end to it. But you may have noticed that life just keeps going on. Just constantly on. There's no end to that. So some teachings proclaim that it's just going to be bliss. The end's just going to be bliss. Or the end's going to be, the enlightenment's going to be nothing. Well, here it is. Here's life happening now. And that's always been, hasn't it? It's always been. It always is. There's no end to it. And we don't know anything about it. And that's a wonder. To me, that's enjoyment and so enjoyable. I don't know anything about it. I haven't lost my curiosity. So I go and buy books like Stalking the Wild Pendulum, because it's fascinating. Go and sit on my roof and read about, how big a nucleus is to an atom, and the space in between is that of a... My phone pinging. Let me just switch it off. One second. Sorry about that. The only unenjoyable thing in life is the incessant moaning and groaning of the conditioned mind. It's the only thing that's not enjoyable. Sure, an experience like, Jahari had, where, you're up against that thing, but it comes and then it's over. Then it's over. Those things happen. Like dealing with UPS. It's my bugbear. And heat. It's got hot. It's got really hot. But apart from those things that just come and go, they just hit and then they go. It's that incessant trying and wanting and this story going round and round and round of what life should be, of what I should be. It's like playtime's over when that's going on. Do we want to just not play anymore in life? Are we here not to play? It's not happening now, but the conditioned mind pretends it is. Exactly. It pretends it is happening. I know people who are still moaning about a relationship they had decades ago. Until my daughter stopped talking to her father, which is like, I don't know, a year and a half ago. He was still moaning about me from we hadn't spoken for 26 years. And he was still moaning about something I did one day where I said that I wasn't going to bring her around to his house. I mean, wow. Wow. Like it's still happening for him. 26 years later. If it wasn't for Stella mentioning his existence, I wouldn't even think he existed. Too juicy to let go of. I know, how dare I, not be the chauffeur driver for my daughter going to see him. That's what he's holding on to. That's right. What fuckery resentment is. It really is, isn't it? I mean, it only comes up now because Stella was talking about it the other day. It's like, wow, is that still a thing? Crazy. But that's what the mind does. Makes it think that something's actually happening when nothing's happening. Do we want to live in like the fuckery? Stella is your daughter's name. How pretty. Yes, yes, Stella, my star. Yeah, she's also very pretty. And has finally come to recognize it. At last, finally. It's only taken 28 years. Yeah, so there we have it. You know, fuckery. The fuckery you were saying, lol. Yeah, so there it is. It's either fuckery, where the mind's pretending something's happening when it's really not, or there's the wonder of life. The wonder of life. The beauty of life. The peace of life. Or whatever it is you're drawn to. There's no rules, you see. There's no rules. There's not one way. It's not just like bliss or nobody or, I don't know, being lifted off in a spaceship. I don't know, whatever the outcome is from whatever teaching. The outcome is, when the fuckery ends, is who knows? Who knows? And that changes day to day. My life is like I'm a bit like a cat. I like poking my nose into all different things, you know. It never stays the same. It's always changing. It's always a playground. Because what else would there be? Moaning and whining and whinging and resentment? Or enjoying my life? There's the two things. There's nothing in between that. There's only those two. Either or. You can have both, but they don't happen at the same time. You may have noticed. What's your thoughts on Krishnamurti? Barry followed him for a while. I read him years and years ago in my 20s. I actually visited his ashram in Chennai. And I became part of the Theosophical Society in London in my mid-20s. But they were so stuck up that they thought I was too young. And they were probably right, actually. He actually disowned the Theosophical Society, didn't he? I don't remember much of his teaching, though. I don't know. I enjoyed him at the time, that's all I can say. Theosophical Society in Baker Street was really funny. It was like this musty old room with a ticking clock and old carpets and a picture of Krishnamurti on the wall, even though he disowned them decades and decades ago. Or reading The Secret Doctrine by Helen Blavatsky. Theosophy. Very complicated. Ridiculously complicated. Unnecessarily complicated. It's for scholars, really, who like to delve into that, ancient stuff. Because this place, right? If we go with the what did she call it? If we go with the controlled mind pretending something, then we're so entrapped in that, entrained in that we miss the magic of life. The magic of life is the children, the hands, the stars, the sun, the light. Light is such a wild thing. Everything, actually. And weird stuff happens. Weird stuff happens to me all the time. Stuff which is completely makes no sense whatsoever. But I know that it's I don't know, but I sense that it's reality not behaving in a set way, and I like that. I enjoy that. I like Byron Katie quote, "I am a lover of what is, not because I'm a spiritual person, because it hurts when I argue with reality." Yeah, that's a nice one. I never really followed her. She's like does these questions thing, right? It hurts when I argue with reality. It hurts when my conditioned mind is just going over and over the same old garbage over and over and over again for years, Why did I? I should. Why didn't I do that? How do I get it? I used to love a pint of Krishnamurti's. Sorry, bad joke. Oh, you prefer Murphy's to Guinness? Bit softer, isn't it? Yeah, Barry. No one quite like Barry. Nobody. Now there's a man who loves life. Loves life. My grandfather also loved life. So I've had two wonderful men in my life that have inspired me to love life. I love life more than I love anything else. Because if I don't love life first, I'll love the next level down, and that always goes wrong. It always goes wrong. I love life first. Then everything falls into place. Yeah. I love life more than I love the price of cat food. This life is so magical, miraculous. It's a wonder. We don't know how it is, where it is, or what it is. And do we need to, unless we're trying to find some resolution to something? There will never be a resolution, because life never stays still. Yeah, the work, it is true. Can you be 100% certain it's true? Her first books are very non-dualish before all of the questions. Barry, I am the master of these times. Yeah. It was He was quite a character. He was actually. He said it like it was. He stripped all away all the Eastern mysticism and talked about it in a very Western way. Never held back. You say that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. My daughter met him actually in Australia. She said she'll never forget it. He was a very ordinary man. He was just a really ordinary guy, like everybody is. Like everybody is a very ordinary, unless we're trying to be like, guru special, but extraordinary as well. Extraordinary life, being life. There's nothing ordinary about that. But there's no need to have. I think it's problematic when there's a specialness of like, I have something that these people don't have. It's just ego garbage, self-importance. It's very selfish, actually, very selfish to feel superior to others. No one's superior to anyone else because everyone's the one thing anyway. Everybody's the one thing. I'm not talking about one love and one people, but we're all part of the same field of existence. There's no one who's better than another. I read something a while back, and he said something like, there are billions of beliefs, and they're all correct. I love the depth of that. The depth of that is beautiful. Because there is no one who is right. Billions of beliefs, and all of them are correct. Because there's nothing incorrect. But having to live this life, there are things which are useless, creating unhappiness, all self-imposed, of course, because nobody's doing anything to anybody. Well, unless they are, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, generally. I'm not talking about what's happening now with people. I don't know about that, but I'm not talking about that. It just takes some courage, though, to be just simple, just to be, not to stand out in the eyes of others or be accepted in the eyes of others, or idea of the eyes of others. Because there's nothing to lose. There's nothing to lose. You might as well be free of it all. You might as well be. Because what else is there? Just to be moaning Minnie? Does Stella suffer? Does she see through the illusion? No, not really, but she's trying her best. She's trying her best in her own way. She has suffered, and she does, but it's getting better for her. But I'm just an ear that listens. She doesn't really want my help, but just being somebody who listens is sufficient for her. Sometimes she asks my advice, but normally she just wants me to listen without comment. Yeah, but she's her own thing. She's her own thing. She's yeah, she's not me. Yeah, but she does like to talk with me. We talk nearly every day. She does like to talk with me, and I like to talk with her. So we do get on really, really well. Chip off the old block. Yeah, we're quite similar. We're quite similar. Not in every way, but in a lot of ways, we're very similar. She's still very young. She has experience to gather, as many of us have had quite a lot. Everyone's their own person. They really are. They're their own realm. Their own realm. Isn't that beautiful? It's that thing again, isn't it? There's millions of beliefs, and every one of them is correct. I love that. Can't even express the depth of that quote. I'm paraphrasing the quote. I think it expresses the miraculousness of this place. I mean, what is it? Amazing. I ran out of my British tea for 2 days last week. Wasn't great. There was no British tea. And then there was a fiesta and all the shops were closed. I was like, what is going on? There's no tea. It's true, we do our best, but ultimately our children are part of the mystery. Yes. Yes. You can only do your best, and then you got to let them go. You got to let them go. And it's one of the hardest things as a parent to just let them go and watch them like really mess up. and then come through it and learn from their experience. It's just incredible, really. But it takes some it takes some, what am I looking for? To take the back seat, when it comes to your children when they've grown up. You got a bit more sort of control with small children. But when they get to 15, 16, it's over, it's over. They are not your children. Kahil Gibril. How else can you learn? Make mistakes. Yeah. You just got to watch them, have bad relationships, and the best thing you can do, as far as I can see in my experience, and I've had to learn over the years. There's no, you gotta learn yourself. The best thing I've found is just be there for them. Just to be there without judgment. That's how I have managed to maintain a good relationship with Stella. It's just to be there without any judgment. And I don't have any judgment. I think the problem was at first I tried to protect her too much, Yeah, but it doesn't work. It doesn't work. I mean, really, we're all like children who've gathered experience, aren't we? We're just grown up children in the end. Live and learn, I tell my son. Yeah, exactly. I don't think that ever stops, I don't think it ever stops. In some regard. There's no end. She trusts you, I'm sure. She does. She does trust me. Yeah. She doesn't tell me everything, but I don't want her to tell me everything. Some things she should keep for herself. She just volunteers stuff. Even sometimes I'm like, TMI? But we are like children because it's the same that was when we were 3 or 6 or 12 or 20, etc., etc. That part's never grown up. That part has never aged. That part has never, ever aged a second. It's only the mind that thinks it's old. The body's irrelevant in all of this, Beauty is not in the body. The world will tell you it is, but it's not. Not even a bit. The body can be beautiful, of course, but it's not because of the way it looks. Beauty is that one, it's that isness, that beingness, that essence that never ages a day. The thing you see in an animal's eyes, Beauty is, it just is. It just is. There's no you can't describe it. It just is. And we all love it. We all love it. Anyway, I'm going to end in a minute. It's been a nice conversation tonight. You never know where it's going to go, do you? Obviously, I try to keep on track with the subject, of course, but you never know where that's going to go. It's like the members of Symphony in Station 11, all shapes and sizes, but all beautiful. Yes, I love that in Station 11. They're all absolutely beautiful. It's such an interesting TV series, that, isn't it? I read the book actually years ago before I watched the TV series, and I think I liked the TV series better than the book. It's one of those rare things, those rare TV series which are actually better than the book. I recommend it. It's a little dark, but there's something absolutely sublime in it. Like there's a beauty in it, in that TV series, even though it's based on, like, doom. But that's not about the doom. It's about, that is rare. It is rare. It is. It is. Like Arrival. Arrival was better than the book. Anyway, I'm going to go. Thank you all for joining. Have a lovely week, and you're all beautiful. Okay, bye.